They're screaming that they hate America and we're the reason. If you don't feel safe, then stop defunding the policemen. You calling us extremists cause our words have hurt your feelings. Then we're sorry we can't hear you over the sound of our freedom. Y'all been filling up our classrooms with drag queens for kids. We think it's not appropriate, you tell us that it is. The complexities of gender and children won't ever mix when there's school shootings by women whose pronouns are him, his. I'm not Republican, but keep it 100, they making sense. The most destructive ideologies are coming from the left. I think Black Lives Matter, they think white lives matter less. And LGBTQ turned into WTF. Dear Democrats, I don't have nothing against the liberal, but the people representing you are communists and criminals. They've been starting World War III, we shipping missiles still. They don't want America great, they want it miserable. You can try to burn down the city, scream at the top of your lungs till you're dizzy. You can cancel everything and everybody in it, but it's not your America.
You can burn the flag, get aggressive. You can wear a mask and pretend you're progressive. I got my First Amendment, don't forget I got the second. It's not
your America.
I'm hearing words I never heard in life. Kids go to school to learn, never make it back home, they get murdered. Like, who's concerned? Not the left or the right. Hope you ready for the fight. Coming to your front door tonight. The former president got arrested, the current one lost, but I guess he got elected. Kids get molested, pedophiles all get protected, and you can kill a baby anytime if you're pregnant. People so weak, feel free to take a knee, and you can't even speak, God forbid you disagree. I don't even know what virtual signaling means. Young men used to fight wars, now they make memes. Divide us up, I'm pretty sure that's the plan. Got a gun in my hand for when shit hits the fan. And how the woman of the year is a man, I'm pretty sure I never really understand.
You can try to burn down the city, scream at the top of your lungs till you're dizzy. You can cancel everything and everybody in it, but it's not your America.
You can burn the flag, get aggressive. You can wear a mask and pretend you're progressive. I got my First Amendment, don't forget I got the second. It's not
your America. You told us we're the ones to blame. You're the ones who riot till the city's up in flames. You told us we've been spreading lies, but you believe the truth is on the news every night. You told us we gotta stop the fighting, but you're the ones who keep the country angry and divided. You told us we're crazier than you, but all of our conspiracy theories are coming true. You can try to burn down the city, scream at the top of your lungs till you're dizzy. You can cancel everything and everybody in it, but it's not your America.
You can burn the flag, get aggressive. You can wear a mask and pretend you're progressive. I got my First Amendment, don't forget I got the second. It's not
your America.
What if you could do SEO smarter and faster? With Wix,
It's a sex machine to all the chicks. Damn right.
Welcome everyone to another live Radical Republican show. I am your host, Jerome Bell, Black Mamba Radio. I'm back from vacation. And it was a good vacation. Some things happened while I was gone. Of course, I kept on top of it. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And we're going to talk about more than that. More than that. The big news. Before I get to the big news, I have to hit my sponsors first. Hello, everyone. Hello, Stormies. Hello, Mally. Hello, TBB. Hello, out there in X land, Miss Sexy Ra, Vic Nichols, Carolyn. How y'all doing tonight? I am live. Hey, Susan over there on Rumble. So wherever people are watching this show at, hello to everyone. I mean, I'm live on Rumble, live on Cloud Hub, live on Facebook, live on, and I don't even like Facebook, live on YouTube. I went back to YouTube. I mean, I'm sure they'll nuke this channel here too. I just went back to YouTube because some people were following me on YouTube, and I can look at the chat. Some on X, some on Getter. So we're just doing it. I have Christy Hutchinson is back in the house tonight. I'm not sure how long she's going to stay. I hit her on short notice, but she'll be in the Lion's Den tonight. We're going to talk about the Trump conviction and some more stuff. Christy is my expert on the border with women fighting for America, and she's back tonight. But if you travel like I do, this actually came in handy. I didn't get sick or anything, but it was good just having it there with me. So as a frequent traveler, that staying healthy on the go is essential, whether you're exploring new destinations or simply navigating your daily commute. You need to be prepared for anything. That's where the Wellness Company comes in. The Wellness Company's emergency medical kit. The Wellness Company understands the unique challenges travelers face, and I'm going to pull this up on the website so you guys can see that as well. All right. Travelers face from travelers' diarrhea to the latest health scare to bioterrorism. The medical emergency kit is your ultimate travel companion, packed with essential medications like ivermectin, amoxicillin, Z-Pak, and more. It's a peace of mind in a compact case. The Wellness Company's team of trusted medical professionals, including Dr. Peter McCulloch, Dr. James Thorpe, who's on the show, Dr. Harvey Risch, Dr. Drew Pinsky, who we're going to get at some point, and more, ensure you have the best care and guidance at home or on the road. Stay ahead of the curve. Get your medical emergency kit from the Wellness Company today and be ready for your next adventure. Visit twc.health/FFN and use promo code MAMBA, MAMBA, to get an exclusive 10% discount. Your health, your journey, trust in the Wellness Company. Again, that's twc.health/FFN. Use promo code MAMBA. Okay, so let me tell you about my vacation real quick. I've been all over the world. I've been on every continent. I've been pretty much everywhere you can name, except I had not been to the Grand Canyon yet. And what an experience. If you have not been to the Grand Canyon, put that on your bucket list. It's an experience like no other. It is amazing. It's exhilarating, especially when you're standing out on a cliff or on a piece of rock like I was, just overlooking this mass beauty that God made. It was totally phenomenal. So I definitely suggest that. So me and my wife had a great time out there, spent the week out there. And while people think I was soaking from my 2-month run loss, I was actually enjoying the hell out of myself, having a great time. So put that on your list, put that on your bucket list of the Grand Canyon if you have not. So I want to play something first before I bring in Christy. You all know that President Donald Trump got indicted, I guess you could say, and convicted on 34 counts. 34 counts of whatever he got charged for. Shit, I don't even think they told him what he was charged with, with the crime. But we had some congressmen, some congresswomen that lost their damn minds. We had people around the country that lost their damn minds. They went burning up shit. And I'm gonna show you some clips from that real quick.
If we can't protect the children, we can't protect anybody. If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
Overnight, growing national unrest. In New York City, dozens of looters seen kicking in windows and breaking into stores across Midtown Manhattan. Macy's iconic flagship ransacked. Reports of fires set inside. The chaos coming after a day of peaceful protests across the city.
Anyone coming to Manhattan with the intent to take advantage of people during this very difficult time, we are going to ensure that we do everything that you are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
In Seattle overnight.
Okay, my bad. That was the wrong party. My bad. I'm sorry. That's the shit we didn't see. They probably had right to, right? But that's what they wanted. That's what the left wanted. That's what MSNBC and those clowns over there, the Rachel Madcows of the world, and the left really pretty much, they gloated about it. Here's a lady. I'm still trying to figure out how she, on $184,000 income, 2 terms, I guess, in the Congress. Bartender from Boston College, supposedly broke, is now worth $29 million.
At the top, because there was some breaking news just as we were filling out here today, and I want to make sure that we update everybody on there. The trial for former President Trump just concluded, and the jury just delivered their verdict. So for those of you who have not been informed yet, he has been found guilty on all 34 counts of fraud. It's important to note that despite the initial statements trying to politicize this verdict, saying that it was somehow partisan or Democrats or what have you, Donald Trump was convicted by a jury of his peers. In fact, usually it is the poorest and the people with least resources and the most marginalized, and often Black and brown New Yorkers that experience the actual miscarriages of justice, not just in New York, but across the country. And I think what was important today is trying to at least strive for a world where the rule of law applies to everybody. And in fact, usually
if you have a piece of crack cocaine, no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, $1/4 of $1. We passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says if you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years. You get no probation. You get nothing other than 5 years in jail. Judge doesn't have a choice. Under our forfeiture statutes, the government can take everything you own, everything from your car to your house, your bank account, not merely what they confiscate in terms of the dollars from the transaction that you just got caught engaging in. They can take everything. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society. They are in jail, away from my mother, your husband, our families. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street.
the wealthiest and the whitest and the most powerful people that do not experience an actual accountability or an equal level of accountability in our justice system. And so
she's right. Except when it comes down to motherfuckers like Joe Biden and those people in Congress, right? Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, right? You know, so my question is, I guess, what happened to Donald Trump's white privilege and jury of his peers? That was not a jury of his peers. Let's just be honest, right? But you guys can see the crap that how the Democrats code shift, how the Democrats they, you know, project. And you see AOC, right? How fake I guarantee she was talking to a white audience, right? She wasn't sitting down in town hall in her district talking to people in her district because she code shifts to, you know, try to be a real Latina, right? You know, you check out how she was talking. She was talking to a white crowd. So fake. So fake, right? And you know, Democrats are nothing but fake people. So they gloated about Donald Trump being convicted, I guess, with no white privilege. Hunter Biden gets all the white privilege he can, right? You know, so we see we have a two-tier justice system. And of course, black people, we've been saying that for decades, right? And this is why, honestly, hey, Jamie over there in Rumble Land, that what's happening to Trump is resonating in the black community. It's totally resonating in the black community because it's happened to us over and over again. So that's where we're going to start at today. That's where we're going to start at today. And we're going to bring in my good friend, Christy Hutchison, on the show. How you doing, Miss Lady?
Hey, how are you doing, Jerome? Welcome back from vacation at the Grand Canyon. I've actually been there, and it's quite impressive. It's amazing to see all things that God has created on this beautiful earth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just to see that is, I mean, I took some phenomenal pictures, but, you know, the pictures really do no justice to it because unless you're standing there in front of it and over it, it's, you know, something amazing. So where are we? We haven't talked since, I guess a couple of months now. We already know we're still being invaded at our border, you know, by military age men of all over the world that we're probably going to have to fight here at some point. But what's your take on the Trump verdict and where does America go from here?
Well, you know, I wrote an article and I put it out a couple days ago, and it's called "When Justice is No Longer Blind: One Party's Obsession and the Future of America." The injustice of convicting a president for, first and foremost, the due process wasn't even remotely given and with a fair trial. He had no idea even what the charges really were. It was kind of like they were manifesting as they went along, and it was kind of like a gotcha moment, right? This is what we're actually charging you with, which of course.
Did they ever tell him? I'm sorry, but did they ever tell him what he was charged with? Even when they convicted, I guess, him? You know, 34 charges?
You know, at the end, when at the very end of the trials, when they started giving that revelation of what they were actually going to charge him with. But really, in reality, this goes beyond President Trump. Whether you like Trump or not, this really should scare and frighten every single
absolutely
anybody in America who still loves freedom and liberty and something called the Constitution and the rule of law. And it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, Independent, Republican, or where you lie in your political affiliations. This is very, very scary ground. And when we have given this kind of power to the authorities within the White House, in the judicial system, and in the DOJ, and these rogue attorney generals who are funded, by the way, by our enemies like Soros to get into office, every American is no longer safe. No American. And I don't care if you're poor or if you're a billionaire, you are no longer safe in this country underneath the judicial system. We have a rogue system, and we have got to, as Americans, all of us, stop. The left needs to stop gloating. And I think it's absolutely disgusting. The Joy Bears and the Whoopi Goldbergs and the Rachel Maddows and all of these people, they are filth. They are disgusting. They don't belong actually in America. They are communist. I'm just going to call it out, because If they cared more about this country and the law and order instead of the hate that they have for one individual, they would take a step back and understand the ramifications of what just happened. And we as Americans need to push back. You know, I would love to see all your listeners start this incredible fire across this country saying, we're not going to watch MSNBC, ABC, CB, all of this ratchet, disgusting filth that they're propagating out there, because America died a couple days ago. And if we don't resurrect her, she is going to be gone.
You know, I agree with that. You know, like you say, they set a dangerous precedent, a very, very dangerous precedent, because when President Trump does win 2024, I believe what he should have done the first time is definitely go scorch the earth on these people, you know, and went after the people that were really, that, you know, that really did crimes. But for the sake of America, he didn't do that. He didn't do that. So now the tables are turned.
I think it's a little bit more in depth than that. I mean, I'd love to say that President Donald Trump, those are the reasons why he didn't do it. But I'm going to tell you, somebody who's been working in DC for over 25 years, I can tell you, he didn't know what he was getting into. And I'm going to be honest.
No, right. I agree. No, I agree. It was the snakes around him.
To do the things that Biden's administration and the Obama administration has been able to do, you've got to have the buy-in of both the House and the Senate. You have to have the buy-in of the justice system and the corruption that they've had. And he certainly did not have any of that, including the Republicans, by the way. And my hope is that if and when they allow him to become president again, and we'll talk about that and why I'm saying if and when, and I pray to God that he does, he has got to have these weak-bellied Republicans to stand up at all cost, seriously, and stand by his side and take all of the powers to be legally with the Constitution and go after every single one of these treasonous individuals, because that's what this is. This is treason. And what is treason? When they're convicted, it is death penalty, and that's what they deserve.
Well, we're just going to get kicked off of YouTube for for that one. I got nuked from YouTube a while ago because, you know, with the voter fraud, I had said something of that nature, that they need to be arrested. Anyone that, you know, because it's treason for voter fraud, anyone that was part of the voter fraud and part of the, what I call the coup of taking down the duly elected president of the United States by cheating, they need to be arrested, they need to be tried, convicted, and then they need to face the ultimate punishment for treason. And I was like nuked off everything. That's when I got deplatformed from everything. But, you know, and I also ran on bringing back the WHO Act as well. I think that needs to be implemented back to actually rid the halls of Congress, like you say, of all of the communists. We have many communists that are serving in our Congress, in both the House and the Senate, as we speak. And I believe, and the problem is that these people that are still around Trump, you know, like Chris LaCivita, you know, he's writing endorsements for President Trump. He's busy. President Trump is, you know, of course he's not writing these endorsements. We know, you know, the people around him does. So he's writing endorsements for people like Hung Cao, for people like John McGuire, who will just go to Congress and be other yes boys and yes men for the lobbyists and probably for the WEF and all this shit. But, you know, will there be enough people? I'll say that. Will there be enough Bob Goods? Will there, you know, be enough Eli Cranes and people like that in Congress that are going to win, because they're under fire? Bob Good is in a hell of a re-election campaign right now. But will we have enough people to do that, to stand up and enough people that will stand next to President Trump and do these types of things that need to be done, that the founding fathers would have been stacking bodies a long time ago? So do we have those type people in Congress right now?
Well, I'm on a different mindset. I think one of the best things President Trump could do and should do, if I was advising him, is I would clear the bench. I would clear the bench of the lifers. I would clear the bench of the insiders. I would clear the bench of the Washingtonians. And I would start just like with any good business. You know, I'm the CEO of a company, and I want to run that company because my company is only as strong as its people. And so when I look at hiring individuals, I look at the best of the best. I look at their resumes. I look at what have they accomplished in the real world, right? Not in Washington, D.C. And so I believe that Trump, to be very successful, needs to bring in businessmen and women who have been in the private sector, who have been successful in the private sector, and who understand how to run a corporation, because really that's what America is, unfortunately. It's a corporation, and she needs to be ran as such. Big government was never, ever the vision of our founding fathers. And we have gotten to the point where our government is so powerful and so big that we're seeing the corruption at unprecedented levels and deep, deep layers. And the only way you're going to cleanse that is by ushering in new blood from the outside to revamp and put a breath of fresh air back into our systems the way the founding fathers meant. And, you know, when you have activist judges, activist attorney generals, activist DOJ, activist White House, who are no longer serving the people, but are serving their own personal greed and power and control. This is what the founding fathers warned all of us about. And we, the people, this government is by the people, for the people, and of the people. And when this stops, it's because the people decided it stops. And that, what I mean by that is we have to understand that unity is our strongest weapon. And that's what they're afraid of. You know, I think of a quote by David Hume, and he said, freedom is seldom lost all at once. And that is very true. And when you look at the Roman Empire and these great empires that have fall, it's because they started having corrosion from within, and it was like a cancer. Right. And that's what we're seeing in the United States of America. And we have to eradicate the disease, and that's communist socialism. You know, Jerome, I want to get your thoughts on something what I thought was really interesting. You know, there's a federal statute, and it's called USC 182339B. And when you have a congresswoman like Tlaib, who literally just passed last weekend, was at a conference and talking, by the way, with known terrorists who the United States of America has actually designated a terrorist threat. She's on the stage, he's virtually in, and she's spewing propaganda and bolstering terrorist organizations like Hamas. Do you know that under that statute, that she should be arrested for treason, and that the FBI has the authority to do that? The same thing is with these college campuses. All of these people who are protesting and bolstering organizations like Hamas from the river to the sea, or from Mexico to the United States, all of that falls underneath that statute. And that statute says this: anybody who is giving material support, training, or resources, or propaganda dissemination, or funding, or bringing in funding to promote such, would be and considered to be arrested underneath that statute.
I agree with that 100%. I agree. Yeah, people like Rashida Tlaib, people like Ilhan Omar, you know, to mention those two.
AOC.
AOC is another one. You figure all of the squad. You know, you can pack in all of the squad there. You know, oh yeah, all of them should be. You know, even if you look at it, the entire Democrat Party is doing it. You know, everyone that sits in a Democrat seat is doing something of that nature. You know, including Joe Biden, including Alejandro Mayorkas at the border, head of DHS. All of these people are doing it because all these people are bringing in. They're harboring criminals. They're harboring terrorists. They know they're on the terror watch list. The FBI, Wray, okay, Christopher Wray, as well, because he knows, and he said it many times, you know, they know that they're terrorists, and they know who they are. They know where they are most likely. But when we have another attack in this country is going to be because they allowed it to happen. So if they are allowing these things to happen, all of them are guilty of treason, every one of them. So every one of them should be arrested. But if we don't have constitutional sheriffs with the balls to do that, if we don't have Congress people with the balls to do that, if we don't have, of course, we don't have the DOJ, we don't have the administration. So who's going to do it? Who's going? They put the psyops on the American people with the J6 thing. The J6ers are still in prison, for no reason. I mean, Enrique Tarrio got put in jail, sentenced to 22 years, and he wasn't even in DC that day. So we have a rogue government. So how do we accomplish that? I know we have to vote. There's still elections, so right now, we are at a precipice of, and I say the 1776 moment. I'm still going to go down and say we're not going to have an election in November. I'm still going to say that. I mean, because when you look at how they're lining shit up, okay, they're going to sentence Trump 4 days before the RNC convention. We don't know if they're going to put him in jail. We don't know if they're going to put him on a house arrest. We do know that they're going to take him off the campaign trail, that they're going to take him out of the election. So we know it's election tampering. And so we know that they're going to do all of this because they're setting it all up. So what's next?
Well, I mean, if you look at, one of the interesting things about that trial, what I thought was really interesting, and it caught my attention. And I really wish we had some individuals who really would stand up with some balls to investigate.
We need more Ivan Ranklins running around DC.
Yeah. So yeah, we need people to really, truly, who have the authority and can investigate. God love all of these freedom guys, but they really don't have the authority to do what I'm getting ready to say. What was interesting is the judge dismissed everybody and said, we're done for the day. I served on a federal jury, by the way. I was a foreman for a federal jury. So I understand exactly how this system works. We were in deliberations for over 6 days for federal crime. And once you pretty much, if the jury is saying we can't come to a verdict, dismiss, the likelihood of a quick changing of the mind, the way that happened, is pretty slim. My question is this: who walked into that room? Who made a phone call? Who did something? What happened behind those closed doors to make the jury change their mind so quickly and usher everybody back in? And I believe that they are very, very methodical with their plans, because this is war and these are war tactics. And so I would really like to know who gave the order to the jury to go in, because this was already a script that was already played out. They already knew how this was going to end. And so when you look at the way that everything's shaping up, Jerome, the likelihood of them wanting to give him jail time is going to be huge, because one of the things they're trying to do is they're trying to trigger a civil unrest. So they have all of the terrorists in the nation. They have all of the thugs in the nation, the murderers and the rapists. And by the way, they really don't know where all of these terrorists are, because they've had 4 years of over 34 million illegals. 34 million is the real true number and upwards that have actually come into the country. We have terrorist cells all over this country. So they have to create this incredible tsunami of unrest and tick the base off, right? They want to charge us enough to get us fired up enough that we're going to get stupid. And so they can activate martial law possibly. And so, they do have plan A and B up their sleeve, and we have to be aware of this, and we have to be prepared for this. And one of the things I'm going to really ask the American people to have, and that's restraint. You need to have restraint. We cannot fall into their playbook. We need to be more cunning and savvy than they are. I'm getting ready to speak at the Reawaken America tour this coming Saturday. And I normally will show a lot of photographs, video, pictures, and give debriefs on intel and counterterrorism with proof and show everything. But I'm going to do something different, Jerome. I'm actually giving a speech. And I really hope people really listen. And I'm going to give practical solutions. I've got about 14 points, and I'm going to tell poignantly what America needs to do to save this country leading up to the election, and what our roles are going to be, because it's going to be tumultuous, and it's going to happen mid-July leading and going up to there. So it'll be interesting. We definitely need to buckle up and be prepared for all sorts of shenanigans to take place.
I believe that they are preparing another a false flag, of course, that they will try to blame on, you know, Trump supporters. I believe that's coming down the pipeline really soon. The closer we get to November, I definitely believe that that will take place, especially sometime after they, you know, sentence him around that time frame, right? So yeah, you know, I'm prepared for everything, you know, and we have to because you know there's one thing that I don't believe the Republicans still don't understand that the Democrats play for keeps. This is a blood sport to them, and they play for keeps. It's not that you know we talk about the peaceful transfer of power. It's going to be anything but that, especially if Trump wins. It's going to be anything but a peaceful transfer of power because we saw what happened when he won in 2016. You know, the peaceful transfer of power, the riots that were going on right there in D.C. You know, right after the inauguration as well. But you know, these weak ass Republicans, they underestimate the Democrats. We have traitors sitting on in the aisles on the conservative side as well. So, you know, the people, like say, are going to have some restraint. But we are at a boiling point. People are very upset. They are at a boiling point, and you know, I believe something. You know, I wouldn't even say minor, but something is going to trigger that what they want at some point. I'm fearful of, but yeah, I will hope that people would have the restraint. And then we have the other side. They say we've waited long enough, right? You know, we see what the Democrats are doing. They're screwing us over. They're sending all of our money to Ukraine. They're sending our money all over the world. The American people are getting screwed, you know, and we're tired of it. I mean, you have people, black people. Here, I'm gonna play this clip for you real quick, you know, and I mean, we have here.
Because Brandon Johnson is committed to making sure that black people in this city knows that he does not respect us. We have a man over here from Elgin, Illinois. Elgin. He is not from the 29th Ward. He is not from the 29th Ward. He did not grow up in my neighborhood, in our neighborhood. We have people out here that have been standing 50 years who have flipped. And now we're holding Trump signs because of Brandon Johnson. So, Mr. Johnson, we want to let you know very loud and clear that we will not stand for you disrespecting black women. Because Emma Mint said that she believes that this happened to her because she's a black woman, and I believe it's true too. We all believe that that is true too. We're not going to take the disrespect toward Black Chicago because you like to tell people that you're one of us, but you're not acting like you can to us. You're not acting like we're in the same culture. We have the same goals because everything you do is to appease people outside of us.
So we saw what happened in Bronx, New York with the Trump rally last week. And black men have been waking up. I talked to a lot of black men. Black men have been waking up for a long time. And I believe a great number of black men are going to vote Trump. But when we have black women starting to wake up and starting to, for the first time, you know, like you say, wear Trump's shirts and things like that, there's going to be a shift, right? And I know for a fact in the black communities, the black community is pissed off. And they're very pissed off because they have the illegal aliens coming in taking their shit. Right, you know, taking their healthcare, taking their jobs, overrunning their schools, you know, competing for everything in their neighborhoods, and they see that these illegals are getting it for free. So there's a boiling point gonna take place, and I don't think the Democrat Party is gonna be ready for that because I don't think it's gonna go the way that they feel. Hence, all the illegals and all the people that they're letting in the border.
Well, Trump's already won, and they already know that. Trump won the presidency, and he's winning it again today, and he's going to win the presidency. Whether or not the globalist elites are going to allow that with whatever shenanigans they're going to pull. And, you know, the black population in the black community should be really outraged. You know, quite frankly, every I don't care if you're white, black, green, purple, Asian, whatever your skin color is, we all should be pissed off. We have been sold goods of lies. And the Democratic Party really is no longer the Democratic Party. They are nothing more than a globalist, communist dictatorship. and they've sold our souls out to the globalist elites and the globalist agenda. And that's really what this is about. You know, I talk a lot about, Jerome, the parallel governments that have already been set up since 1972. And right now, the last entity standing in the way of everything that they want to do is the American spirit and the American people and our Constitution. And so they know that that has to fold and that has to crumble from within so they can finish the job, so to speak. And so we all should be standing up. And again, I'm not a Republican anymore, and I don't care. I tell people that, I'm a registered Republican because you have to be registered. But I don't believe in the two-party system anymore. The two-party system failed us. They have failed us. And so I look at individuals. When I'm going to the voter's box, I'm looking at policies, I'm looking at agenda. And you know what, quite frankly, Jerome, I'm asking that politician to recite the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And if that man or woman can't literally cite to me and repeat the Constitution, then they don't belong in office. And I'm sure as shooting not giving them my vote. I don't care what they call themselves. Right. And we also need to understand that this has been a methodical war plan for over 50 years. And when you look at what's happened to the Republican Party and the reason why we have such a weak Republican Party and weak in men and women who are serving from grassroots all the way up, it's because they're actually spies or infiltrators, so to speak. That's the language that most people can understand. Right. When you think about an infiltrator, they really don't believe in the Republican platform or the conservative platform. So what they had to do is they had to train them to be able to run so they can infiltrate into the system to corrupt that system. Absolutely. And they've done a very good job of it for the last 50 years. And the rhino thing it's just baloney. They're not rhinos. They're actually infiltrators, and we need to call it wrong. So we have to understand the everything that's going to happen or not happen in America is going to start and stop with each one of us. That's where it's at. It's in our hands. It's in our hearts. It's in our minds what the course is going to be for this country. And we have to be bold, and we have to not be in fear. We have to be able to go out into the streets and peacefully protest and exercise our right to assembly. Our voices need to be heard, and we need to be in the streets, and we need to have the signs, and we need to be voicing, and we need to have the bullhorn, and we need to be in unification, and we need to be in mass numbers. That is what's going to win the day. And we have to work with the sheriffs. We have to understand what they're going to try in the voting box. One of the things I'm going to tell you guys should do, they're going to use mail-in voting, and they're going to try to have this where you can't go to the polls. So you know what, Republicans, conservatives, Democrats, independents, if you want to vote for Donald J. Trump, a vote for Donald J. Trump is a vote for freedom. It's a vote for stopping the globalist agenda, whether you like them or not. That's where we need to be, and we need to rally together. And you need to go, and you know what, go get a mail-in ballot. Bring one to your neighbor and your friends and your family and your coworkers. Fill them out and take them yourselves. Personally drop them off so they cannot suppress your vote. And you follow the chain, videotape yourself dropping your votes off. You are the answer, and you are the change that needs to happen for this country.
Absolutely. There it is. No one's come to save us, as they would say, right? Yes, we want Donald Trump. He's not the savior. You know, yes, he's the one that we want in there that could, you know, light the fire for the next 4 years again, but we ultimately have to save ourselves because there's no one coming to save us. So tell the audience about, go ahead, finish your thought, and then tell the audience about WFFA.
What's interesting is two things. I want everybody to really pay attention. It'll be interesting to see what the Supreme Court does with these the immunity thing. But what's interesting is Hunter Biden's trial that's coming up. And, you know, Hunter Biden should be behind bars, and so should all of the Biden family for the corruption and stuff that they've done. Hillary Clinton, we could go down the list, right? Absolutely. And so it'll be interesting to see. I would love to see your audience and anybody else who's listening to this to show up at those every single day at the courthouse and protest and say, lock him up. That he should be in jail. Right. Biden's son should be behind bars. And we need to have equal justice, because certainly President Trump didn't get justice or equal justice for that matter.
Not even close.
Neither are the J6ers. So we need to show up and we need to be angry and we need to be the beacon and the wall and the watchman on that wall. And so I'm asking everybody to engage like never before. You know what? If you have to take off work, take off work. If you have to take your vacation, take vacation. Because you know what? If you don't do it now, between now and November, throw in everything that you can to fight for this country. This country will no longer exist come November 6th.
And this is the best country in the world. I've been to all of them, most of them anyway. So this is it. This is it. And you know, like you said earlier, at the beginning, we have to be the ones. You know, we have to be the ones because, you know, we have to be the ones to protect our families, to protect, you know, this country. The patriots, when they say patriots of this country, there's a lot of patriots in this country. There's a lot of veterans in this country. So, you know, with that, we have to not, like you say, be fearful because there's strength in numbers, and we have to have, you know, like say, you got to be black people, it has to be white people, it have to be Hispanics. I mean, I talked to, when I was in Arizona, I had my hat, right? I wore my hat all over the Grand Canyon, and to a person, white person, an Indian lady from India that lives here in the United States, black men, black women, you know, they all came up to me and said, "Hey, we love your hat. We got to get Donald Trump in there." So it's a plethora of people. You know, this is not, you know, just a white Republican thing. Everyone across this nation is feeling what's going on. Everyone across this nation wants Donald Trump back in office because we all believe that he's the guy. And hopefully, you know, he'll get some people around him. Right now, I'm not really, you know, joyful about the people that surround him right now still. So and you know, I know he's been busy, but hopefully at some point he'll figure that out. He's gonna have to get some warriors around him, some people that's not
We
gonna
can live in a banana republic or we can live in freedom, one of the two. And one of the things that we're doing is we're giving you, the American people, the tools you need and the education you need. I have assembled an incredible team. JJ Carroll, and if you don't know who JJ Carroll is, he was a supervisor, a border patrol agent for over 20 plus years. He has wrote a book that is incredible. You really need to get a hold of JJ Carroll's book. He is coming to our training. He will be one of our trainers. I have the great Tom Renz, Legal Eagle, Legal Mind.
love Tom.
Tom has been on the forefront fighting for you every day. If you don't know who he is, you need to know who Tom is. Tom Renz is going to be teaching you on lawfare. There'll be myself. And then, of course, we are going to have, they don't want their faces and their names put out on our material and flyers, but these guys are, let's just say, they're the guys who go in and do the jobs that nobody else can do. And they're very good at it. And they are the highest levels in spec ops. And I'm so proud to have them on our team. And we're willing to come and spend a whole entire day with you. We're going to do a Friday night VIP event and then 12 hours training on a Saturday. We're rolling up our sleeves. This isn't another rah-rah event, cheerleading event, speeches. This is actual training. You're going to learn exactly what you need to do to defend and protect what's most precious to you, your family, your community, and this country. And I promise you, we will not let you go after that. We're going to hold your hand even after that. And we're going to rally every single neighborhood, I hope, all across this great country. We're going to be in York, Pennsylvania, come the end of August. You can go to Meet for America, and that's MEET, the number 4, America.org. Now, there's only 300 tickets. That's it. 300 lucky people, and I don't even know how many are left right now. If you want us to come to your town and you want this kind of training, you can host it and you can be our community host. You can go to our website and you can email us either at Women Fighting for America, which is right there, WFA.win, and say, I want to be a host city for Meet for America training with these incredible individuals. Don't walk, run to this course.
There you go. Absolutely. Thank you for that. and go get it. It's great training, and I know the people that work with Christy. She's phenomenal, and I know she has the most phenomenal people around her. So go to wffa.win, check more on Christy out. Go to Meet for America, the number 4, Meet for America, the number 4.org, and sign up. And if you're out there in Pennsylvania, York, Pennsylvania, go check them out. Go get one of those 300 tickets. Go get one of those 300 tickets. So, Christy, thank you. Always, you're always wanted, always accepted, and always invited back here in the Lion's Den. And we appreciate you coming back tonight.
Thank you so much, Jerome. I'm thankful to be on. And as always, America is waiting for you to engage. Don't wait for somebody else to be the leader. Be the leader in the change this country needs. God bless you guys.
All right. God bless you, Christy. Talk to you later, girl. Bye-bye. Christy Hutchison. She's like the bomb. She's awesome. So, okay. So this is what I'm going to do tonight. Okay. I'm going to, I put the link in the chat, right? So if you want to come on the show, because it's live, if you want to come on the show, you just want to tell people how you feel, you want to get some shit off your chest, you want to ask a question live, you don't have to put your picture up there. You can just do audio. You don't have to go video. You can just do audio if you want. But if you want to come on the show, the link is there. It's on, I think I put it in the Getter chat. I put it over there on Rumble. And if you can see it in the chat on X or YouTube or any of the other ones, So go ahead and hit the link, follow the instructions. And hey, Christy says she's going to stay for questions. So hey, she didn't have to bail, so she's hanging out. So I'm going to bring Christy back. Yeah, hang out, Christy. So, okay, I'm going to bring Christy back. So if you all want to join in, okay, she's going to stick around for a minute and bring her back. Boom. Okay, so Christy's going to stick around for questions or any comments, okay? I don't do this too often on the show because normally I'm full with the gas and we take up the whole 2 hours or we're talking about some other stuff. I have other stuff to talk about, but like this is an unscripted show. It's live. It's mine. I don't have to stick to a script. We're unedited, uncensored, unfiltered. This is one of those few shows. This is one of the few shows that my sponsors allow this show to be just as it is. And that's why they sponsor the show. So I'll take a moment to talk about one other sponsor, Freedom First Coffee, because if we get real busy, I'll forget. All right. So Freedom First Coffee, 100% organic coffee beans, gourmet quality, fire roasted in an antique Victorian era coffee roaster. They do not burn the coffee beans. It's not bitter or acidic. It tastes like freedom. So go to freedomfirstcoffee.com. That's freedomfirstcoffee.com. Put in promo code Mamba, MAMBA, and get your 10% discount in this great coffee. So go to freedomfirstcoffee.com, promo code Mamba, and get 10% off. So don't be shy. All right. We don't want people to be shy. Hey, this is your country, and people need to hear what their peers and what other people are thinking. You're not alone. Okay. A lot of people may think that, they're alone. They don't want to speak up because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want their friends to know that they're truly a patriot. They're just hiding in the closet, but, it's time for all patriots to come to the forefront, to be honest. It's on Twitter. You can't see the link. Okay. I'm going to put okay, here we go. Let me see if I can throw it on. It should be up there. Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat on Twitter. It's there now. Okay, so Vic, there's the chat on Twitter right now. It's in there. Sexy Raw. I know you want to come on, girl. So, but it's in there.
Jerome, I think it is the moment in history. Everybody, you can fly the flag upside down, but I fly a black flag. I have a Black American flag, and I'm flying it. It is time we all put up the distress call because America literally is in distress. So I'm reading some of the comments, and I think Vic asked a question about motivation. A couple things, if I may tackle that question.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Vic, it's interesting because it's really not your job to motivate others. If people cannot look around them and see literally the house burning down around them, I'm not quite sure what's going to motivate them. But I believe what really motivates other people is seeing, right? It's action, seeing other people do. And when you start doing your part in your role in saving this great country, no matter what that looks like, it could be as simple as going and volunteering someplace, or taking the elderly to go vote or register to vote, or going and walking on your and knocking on doors to see if people are registered to vote. Something as simple as that. It's pretty incredible when people start seeing other people actually act and be selfless to do the job that needs to be done. And it kind of catches fire a little bit. And so that's what I would tell you. Don't worry about what you want to tell them to motivate them. Why don't you show them? And then they'll start jumping on the train and start doing for this nation.
Okay, so we got another question in chatting on the Getter chat. You won't be able to see this one, but I'm monitoring it. And we had a question over there. What does Christy think about the risk to Trump's safety now and or in the future?
Well, it's very clear. Trump has definitely a bounty on his head. And I believe that there's probably been several thwarted attempts already on his life. His team and the people around him understand the threat seriously. I would venture to say we're going to see a huge uptick, and I'm sure he's got lots and lots of private security, as well as the Secret Service around him as well. You know, unfortunately, I'm going to be honest with you, because this is something I do know about, and that's the security business in the defense industry. At the end of the day, unfortunately, if somebody really wants somebody dead, there's not a whole lot you can do. And when you see all of that presence of bodyguards, I have bodyguards, I have close protection. What it is, it's a deterrent, and there are professional witnesses to always be around you. But if somebody really wants to take somebody out, it's very difficult in this day and age probably to stop them. So we need to pray for his safety. We need to pray for his family. And we need to ask God Almighty, which I believe he has an incredible divine protection around him, just like I do, for such a time as this. And that's what we can do to help bolster those individuals who are protecting the president and him, is to pray for that, specifically for that power and that protection around him.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. He's definitely more protected than just the Secret Service. I actually did a show on that, man, when he first got elected, and I was telling people, you know, because of his background, and I won't get into that, but he has definitely more security than just the Secret Service. So Roseanne here in the chat, I think you may have read that, but you know, it's true that Biden is legalizing the border crashers. He, I guess, pretty much let off 350,000 illegals from their amnesty hearings, so they don't have to even show up, you know, because I guess, you know, they don't have any criminal records or whatever. So yeah, that's one of the things that's happening. So question here's a question for you from me, Christy. Alejandro Mayorkas, you know, they, you know, put him up for impeachment. Of course, the spineless Senate did absolutely nothing. But is he one of the people, and I know the answer, but I ask you this, but is he one of the people that should be tried for treason?
Oh, he is 100%. He's committed treasonous acts. He constantly is ordering the federal agents to stand down and to not uphold the oath and the law of the land that Congress actually passed. You know, Biden and the Biden administration, the deep state, Obama, the powers to be, and this isn't just happening in America, Jerome. This is happening in the free Western world. So the open border system is happening all over the world. Italy, France,
Ireland is a huge one.
They're everywhere. And this is on purpose. This is by design. And Biden has been flying in he has directed the federal government for the last several years to fly in planes from outside of the country into the United States, which, by the way, is a violation of so many laws. And one of the things that the governor should be doing, I live in Florida, and everyone thinks Governor DeSantis is all that in a bag of chips. Well, let me just tell you something. I want everybody to understand something. don't trust any politician. And
Mhm.
DeSantis has done a lot of good, but at the end of the day, he's still not doing what he is
What he
sworn
said.
to do,
Right.
and that's protect and defend Florida's borders, right? So under DeSantis, Florida has well over 1.2, 1.5 million illegals that have been allowed to come into our state and live here. What they can do. So when Biden sends all of these individuals, I don't care if it's by commercial or cargo plane or however, or private plane, prop plane, dust plane, agricultural plane, bus, train, whatever, how that is, they can stop them from getting off. They can't stop them from landing, but they can sure as shooting have law enforcement there to surround that plane, train, automobile and stop them from getting off of that transportation system and turn them around and make them get the heck out of our state. And if every governor who had a spine and a backbone would actually do this, they would actually be saving and defending not only their constituents that they're sworn to uphold and protect, but they would actually be helping to secure the free, fair elections. Because make no mistake, the illegal population replacement is a couple things. It's your voice replacement, it's your labor replacement, it is to replace the military, the police force, all of these people who will be in literally sucking off the teat of the government and the Democratic Party to do their bidding. And that's what we have to understand, not to mention all the criminals, gangs, and the worst of the worst who this administration has led into our country and our nation.
Absolutely. I've had that discussion with a lot of black people. I'm like, look, they're coming to replace your ass. Okay, you laugh because, oh, yeah, it's a great replacement theory of the white people. No. They're going to replace you too, especially as you wake up and as you vote for Trump and put on the Trump shirts. Oh, yeah, they're coming to replace you too. And not only that, if the Democrats get their way and they're all counted in the census and they, are going to stack these blue states, what's going to happen? They're going to get more representation in Congress because people have to understand that. The more population, if you guys didn't pass a civics class or didn't, you slept through civics in high school when we had it, right? The population
that
didn't take that
census
many
counts all of the
congressmen.
illegals. It does, and it redraws districts, and it allows to have more seats. And again, your voice will never ever be heard again. So if you believe in constitutional freedom, less government, conservative, you just want to be left alone. Even if you don't believe in all those things, you just want government to leave you alone. You better get engaged right now because we don't have much time. I mean, this is it. This is
short. Time is short. Time is very short.
This year is it. It's either we're all in or we're all going to be under tyranny and oppression because we're going to have policies that don't give us freedom of movement. Because people are like, well, what do you mean? I mean, the Democrats have been in power and I'm still able to go to work and do all these things. Well, what's going to happen is, Jerome, is they have this thing called, and I hate the word, they are called 15-minute cities because the World Economic Forum, that's what they've labeled them. But let me make you understand really what that looks like. So when you are dependent on all things digital, right? Whether the banking system, your car now is electric, everything runs off of some type of grid. Well, any kind of grid or power system can be controlled. Money, food, water, cashless society, all of those things.
They just flip a switch.
So all they have to do is cut you off. Even if you're driving down the road and you're trying to escape in your EV vehicle, they can shut it down and you're stuck right there on the side of the road. So if you don't fall in line with what their agenda is and what their ideology is and how they want you to live your life in this pretty little package bow in this beautiful city, like in Dubai, they're creating this incredible city in Dubai. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. Restaurants, shops, blah, blah, blah. And you think, oh my God, this is great. Well, it's in a 15-minute radius block with walls all the way around it with guard gates. And that's to keep you happy within your 15-minute block and be under control. I don't know about you, Jerome, but that doesn't sound fun to me for long term.
No. Oh, hell no. Not as much as I like to travel and get around and get out anyway and be free, and I took a picture at the Grand Canyon and I'll have to show it to you. I'll send it to you, but I'm like over a cliff and I got my arms spread out. I'm just looking over the canyon. I said, this is what freedom is. this is what freedom is. And to be, behind some walls, to be locked in a 15, I couldn't do that. I mean, I literally would probably go out blazing before that happens to me, because I'm too free of a spirit to do that, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people like that. And Stormy's out of what is it, Northwest Florida, said that they are overrun with illegals right now in Northwest Florida. She's in Florida too, and she said they're totally overrun with illegals now there.
You're
And
starting
I
to see
mean,
crime go up. You're starting to see, just think about all of the crime now in your city where it used to not be. Go into a Walmart. That's always like my gauge of what's really going on. And we have to understand. Look at China, and Biden and a lot of these congressional and Senate are beholden and are puppets of China. And I believe, honestly, they got a hold of these guys a long time ago. Biden was groomed by China. If you go back and you can look at the historical data of all of this. And so when you look at how China, all of these China, 38,000, there's a lot more than that, but we'll go with their numbers. 38,000 Chinese nationals who have been coming over the border. I think what America needs to understand, they're like, oh my God, they're oppressed. They're leaving China. They aren't allowed to leave China without China's permission. So you think about this real ID now that they're trying to shove down our throats. And by, I think, next year, everybody in America can't get on a plane and travel without, or go over borders without a real ID. Well, all of this is part of what China already does. They have to get approved to get on a plane to fly out of China. So all of these illegals from China that you're seeing, they're not escaping. They're not asylum seekers. They have been given a task and a green light by the Chinese, the CCP, to allow to fly over here and come and infiltrate our borders. And each one of those individuals have a very specific task that they've been instructed to do and spy for the Chinese government. And so, again, America, this is what this future of America is going to look like. Jerome just got back from the Grand Canyon. How would you like it if you wanted to go visit grandma and she lives even an hour to 2 hours from you? But to leave your little area, you have to get permission to be stamped to leave that area to go visit grandma, or to go on vacation, or to do anything. You have to have your passports for your health. And if you're sick, if you're this, if you're that, if you have a cold, or they can tell you no. That's the future of the left. That's the future of the Marxists. That's the future of America if you don't engage.
It is. And you mentioned that, I just came off a cruise. I've been on a couple of cruises I've just been going on, past 4 months or whatever. And, in the airports, on the cruise line ships, they're trying to get you to, it's easier to check in. It's easier to get off the boat. It's easier to get on the boat. And they want to take your face picture. They want to do the biometrics, the picture. Don't do that shit. Don't do that, man. I mean, that's China, that's China. It's total surveillance. And that's all they want to do, is be able to use that. So when you leave out of your little 15-minute living area, the little robot police are going to come get you and put you back in your zone. You guys think the fucking Hunger Games was a movie? You guys really think that shit was a movie, right? That's what's coming to America if people don't wake up. That's exactly what's coming to America if the people don't wake up. The Hunger Games, I've always said this before, it's just enough fiction in movies just to say, it's a movie, it's not real. But most of that shit is real, right? I mean, we're talking about Wakanda.
Sprinkle it in Hollywood.
Yeah, just sprinkle it in. But that's it, and that's what's happening. And when you look at how the United States is actually broken up into FEMA zones, right? People that, if you don't know, go look up the FEMA areas, the FEMA zone, FEMA FEMA zones of the United States. That shit's broken up like districts in the Hunger Games, right? And so, and you're going to look at that, and you look at the surveillance that's happening. You look at all of the illegals that's coming in, right? So there's going to be a fight. There's going to be a battle for the resources, for the food, for the homes. I mean, you guys really don't understand what's really about to take place here in the United States if people don't wake up and let us take this shit back.
Jerome, one way people can go in, all you have to do I'm going to give you guys all a secret. Yeah, I want you all to lean in. You ready for this? Do you want to find out some really cool stuff of what's going on behind the scenes with the government? There's a couple sites that you can go on where they put out bids for contracting in the public sector, because they have to have public-private partnerships to do a whole lot of stuff. And so if you go in and you go to see what's being put out for bid, you can kind of get a heartbeat on what's going on in this nation and what they're up to. So I can tell you they are and have been building massive infrastructure with all of these government agencies and camps and guards and stuff all over the country. And so we need to understand that this is a true threat to democracy. And I'm going to be honest, even this type of Jerome and I sitting here and having this kind of conversation could be construed in their eyes that we would be enemies of the state, even though we're not doing anything wrong or illegal. And this is serious stuff. We need to wake our neighbors up. We need to wake our friends and family up if they're not awake yet. And we need to make them understand. And how do you make them understand? Go to the websites that the leftists use. Show them in their own writing. Stop trying to lead them down our path. Just go and log on to the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, NATO's website, all of these different agencies and entities, Democratic Justice Society. You can go on and you can show them. They put it out there. They're not people that like to hide stuff, and they tell you what they're doing and what they're up to. And that's tools that you can use, educate yourself on it, know where to go, and then show them, hey, listen, let's go on together. Let's read this. This is where I found it. And it's from their own words.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, and it's there. You
Sam.
You have these.
The answer to that question, sam.gov.
Sam.gov. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. Jenny asked the question. And not only that, they also have the applications online. So I can't believe I'm on Facebook. Actually, you know what? I'm sort of glad I'm on Facebook tonight, but I didn't log in to Facebook for some reason. I don't know. One of my channels is messing up, but
Facebook erased me a long time ago.
That's what I don't even know how I'm on because I'm not even linked to Facebook. I'm not even linked. But I'm literally did not link this show to Facebook, and I'm linked to Facebook somehow. I'm getting.
I think with Women Fighting for America, Jerome, I put.
Oh, maybe that's you. Okay, because that's the link from. Okay, it's the link from you. Okay.
In X.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay, so okay, there's a link from you. Okay, that's what it is. I'm like, what the hell? Because I see two X's up here. Okay.
It's so funny because I haven't really been putting. I've been kind of clandestine and behind the radar a little bit in the last 6 months, and I'm really trying not to. I'm not doing as many interviews. I'm not going live as much as I used to because I've been really working really hard, Jerome, behind the scenes. Me and my team have been doing a whole lot of things behind the scenes to save our country. And sometimes you have to shrink back a little bit to do the things that God's called you to do. That's going to be the best good. And so that's where I'm at. I have been shifting my focus to different areas that I can't get into. And they have to do kind of a little bit with my past life and what I used to do for a living. And I'm really stepping up the game behind the scenes to take back this country for my children and my grandchildren legally, by the way. We don't do anything that's not above the law. So we need to make sure that everybody who's listening to this message, my hope is that you find people who are like-minded in your community and you formulate a stronghold and a plan. And we need to be able to bridge the gap and cross the aisles. The dangerous ground that we are living in right now is shifting quickly underneath of our feet. The tsunami is headed towards us. And whether you like Donald Trump or not, whether you think he's an asshole, pompous ass, misogynist, fill in the blank, we really need to put all of that aside because we only have two options in November. And the options could not be clearer and more defined. And that is a lawless, rogue government who does not believe any longer in the Constitution, the values of America, or defending and protecting the legal American citizens. They are running this government more like an oligarch, quite frankly, a banana republic. And we need to put down our differences to come together to elect somebody who hopefully in 4 years can help steer the ship right. But he can't do it without the people behind him. Even 4 years isn't going to be enough. We have a lot of work to do, Jerome.
Oh, absolutely. A whole lot of work. And then we have to have somebody willing to do the job and continue to do the job after him. So, that's going to be, another challenge within itself because they're going to come full force. So we, I guess we didn't have anybody want to come on. People are shy, I guess. They didn't want to come on the show. They're asking, I don't know why. Yeah.
Ask me the questions. Let's go. I can answer almost. I'm pretty knowledgeable in a lot of different areas. I don't know it all. That's for damn sure. But
but you're knowledgeable, and that's why I bring you on. So
I've been around the block just a little bit. So now I've got about 5 more minutes. So if anybody has any questions that they want, you can ask me about cartel. If you're just curious about China, I can talk about China's influence and Iran and what they're up to. And I didn't want to
scare. Okay, so tell us about the border. Here we go. We really didn't talk about the border tonight as far as what's happening or the new stuff that's going on the border. We know they're bringing in, possible nukes. We know they're coming in invading. So give us an update on maybe some of the new stuff that's happened since the last time. Oh, we do have.
Well, I'm not going to beat the horse to death anymore with the border because honestly, it's as bad as it can be, and it's not getting better, even though you're thinking that it is. We have 4 borders.
No, it's not getting better.
We have 5 borders. We have an air border, and then we have a East Coast, West, North, and South borders. They've infiltrated. All of the weapons are here. All of the destruction's here. Whatever it's already here, right? They're just waiting for the call, so to speak, to wreak havoc on the American people. And unfortunately, there will be blood, I believe, on our soil and many others. Let's talk about though what really is worrisome. And I've been talking about this a lot, but I'm going to give you guys a little bit of new information. So China and Iran are extremely the highest levels of threat we possibly can get. Even with I believe, the murder and the assassination of the Iranian president. There's a lot of reasons why I think that, and he was a bad guy and he's living in hell right now. And that's exactly where the man deserves to be. But China has had a very serious footprint in Cuba, Central South America, Mexico, and the Caribbean islands. They have been quietly under the radar, Jerome, for quite some time now, giving hundreds of millions to billions of dollars to these Caribbean countries to buy their influence in exchange for infrastructure systems.
Right.
And in exchange, they've been given property and land very close to the border of the United States. And by the way, including the Bahamas. So much so, there are actual photographs because we have access to satellite systems, which I'm not going to get into. And when we scan and look at what's going on around the United States of America, we can see where China has actually built not only military style bases, but there's been activity underneath the ground, including silos, and very, very close to the United States. I think that is a huge threat to the United States of America from a military standpoint. The other thing is Iran, and I've talked about this before. Iran has been using Venezuela and Nicaragua and Bolivia and they do fly into Mexico City and Mexico through these other countries. They have a huge presence with their Quds forces, with their Iran's Revolutionary Guard, Hezbollah, Venezuela Hezbollah, and Hamas. They've been training with cartels. Bolivia, the country of Bolivia, is a storehouse for Iran's military, which includes Mohajar drones and other military grade equipment that can carry ballistic missiles that can hit the United States of America. This is an imminent threat. And I know that our federal agencies understand this and know this. There's been a lot of things going on quietly under the radar that you're not hearing in any news. You would only know this if you know where to look to find it, because you've worked with the DoD space before. But you can't find this information out. It just takes a little digging. They're very concerned. Our own government is very concerned about this growing threat and an imminent invasion, both, by the way, also on our northern borders through Canada.
Wow. So if you know this, and if your team knows this, then our military must know this. Why aren't we doing anything about it?
In some ways, the military is doing something about it. It's very quiet. It's very under the radar. There's been movement within borders of certain countries and places, and we're looking at this hard and trying to find out a lot of detail and information. I'm not going to get it really into the weeds of it. I just want to give a 30,000-foot view because this is national security implications, and it is very dangerous right now. And that's why I'm very, very concerned specifically about the young adult males who are clearly,
from the Middle Eastern countries, from China, all the ones that's coming in
from China. The military men from China, they're very concerning. And I'm sure a lot of your listeners are veterans, and they understand exactly what I'm talking about. When you're in that, and you're a soldier, and you've been in the field and in theater, you kind of get a sense, and you know what to look for to find out if somebody looks like they're part of a militia or a military. They were part of a military, or currently in the military in foreign nations. And that's what we've seen. And that really does sound the alarm in my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you. I'm gonna bring in Jamie. Jamie served with me, and he's about to retire. Hey Jamie, welcome to the show, man. What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, Jerome? What's going on, Christy? How's everybody doing tonight?
Jamie.
Good, man.
Hey, no, as you said, Jerome, on terminal leave, official retirement date September 30th. So, looking forward to it. But like Christy was saying, very, very concerned what's going to happen in the future. So,
thank you for your.
And you shared some things with me, offline, about the undermanning of the military. We're crucially undermanned, and you can't get anybody to come in. We already know that. So we're not hitting our recruiting goals. So and with the military being as woke as it is, with our woke leadership, people are fearful that we can't even win a war, Christy, right now. If we went to war, I honestly don't believe we can fight a war on two fronts. Stormy mentioned something about China and Taiwan. Can we fight a war on two fronts? If we had to go to war with Russia because of Ukraine, or with China and Taiwan, can we even do that?
Well, it's interesting that you asked me that question, because in our private sector consulting business, back under the Trump administration, one of the tasks that we were asked to do is look at wars on different fronts and our capabilities. And we were vastly understaffed back then. And now could you imagine under Biden, who has completely purposefully gutted the military and got rid of purposefully any man or woman who had balls to stand up against an unconstitutional mandate. So they've been weakening our foundations for a long time. So, I really don't want to give that answer, because, knowledge is power to the enemy.
Yeah, absolutely.
What the enemy is more afraid of? The strength of the American people, the strength of the Second Amendment.
Right.
We have more guns in the private hands of citizens.
And this is why we haven't been invaded yet. Honestly,
Yeah,
that's that's my true opinion. We have not been invaded because of our Second Amendment, and they still understand, this fact that even if they invade, they'll be outgunned. So
we cannot give up our guns.
So do not give up your guns, people. I know the people listening to this show. I think most of the people. I know we have some new listeners to the show on on X and other platforms. But I don't know how many of you are conservative. I don't know how many of you are liberals out there just trolling the page. I don't know. But I know the conservatives are not going to give up their guns. So liberals, don't give up your guns. You're going to need them one day, and it's not going to be to fight conservatives. It's going to be to save your life against some foreigners that that's going to want to take your very way of life and take your place. So here in America.
Yeah.
Well, Jerome, just as simple, Jamie, you could probably relate to this. I mean, what was it last weekend? An actor who was an actor on General Hospital, 37 years old, with a young lady walking from a bar and restaurant, came across, and it'd be really interesting to know the background of those two thugs. And I'm sure that they're going to suppress that because I have a good idea of who they are. And so for a Cadillac converter, shot and killed him point blank. This is the America that Biden wants. This is the America that the left wants. This is the America that is an unsafe America for your children. As a mom, I can tell you, I mean, I'm blessed. Both my boys are in the security world, and they know how to defend and protect themselves, but most people don't. And you need to think about having protection on you at all times. That's the America we're living in. What do you say about that, Jamie?
I totally agree. I have my guns at the house, and I'm actually trying to get my wife to buy another one, just to protect ourselves. I travel with my gun. Jerome, like I said, I was just stationed up in Newport, Rhode Island. I would go down to the Bronx to visit my mother, and I will have my gun on me. I will refuse to go to New York City unarmed because I'm not going to be a statistic. So that's how bad it is. And that's my hometown. You couldn't pay me enough to go back to New York.
Great point. Alvin Bragg is allowing all these criminals to run free. They've dragged little ladies on scooters, dragged them through the street, robbing, crimes, shooting people, pushing people in the trains. They're all out on bail and on bond and don't get prosecuted. But somebody like Donald Trump, who there's not even a crime there. The federal government didn't prosecute him on any of this because they found nothing there. But somehow Alvin Bragg was able to resurrect some bogus charges to go after a witch hunt for this man because he's a threat to their very way of life and thinking in America. That's what you really should be thinking about. That's what this is about. He is a threat because he is your voice, and he understands the plans that they have.
Well, look at the cops that got beat up on the street by the illegals. I mean, they're police officers. They're putting their lives on the line. And what a slap in the face to those police officers to let those people just walk out of jail. You and me or Jerome do something. We're in there. We're going to be chastised. We're going to be made look like we're the worst people in the world. But, we're citizens. And then you have non-citizens, illegals. They get away with murder. Literally. Look at the girl in Georgia. Guy, he's not guilty.
Laken Riley. Yeah, it's just crazy. Stormy's you asked. Thank you. Okay, so you follow Christy on WFFA.win is the best place. WFFA.win. That's where you follow her. Everything. So get there and you can volunteer. You can do a bunch of stuff from her website. So go check her out there.
Most important thing all of you guys can do is take down this website and share it as every day. And that's meetforamerica.org, MEET, the number 4, America.org, meetforamerica.org.
York, Pennsylvania. She's coming to you. York, Pennsylvania. Hey, Christy, give us that date again. York.
It's the end. I believe it's the last weekend in August. And it's going to be in York, Pennsylvania. Friday night will be for a lucky 100 people, a VIP answer question Q&A. And then all day Saturday, it is full on. Roll up those sleeves and we're going to train you. It's a training session. I can tell you the type of training you're getting, America, the federal government, we would charge $1,500 a person, and it's less than a night at a hotel. It is less than $200. We're not making money off this. I'm not in this for money. I don't do this for money. I don't make money. I've actually spent more money out of my own personal pocket because I understand the sacrifice that I need to do to save my country and to leave it better than what God has given and allowed me to be here for. So this is not a speech. This isn't a bunch of speakers coming to talk to you or talking heads. This is an actual full-on hardcore training to teach you on what you need to do to defend and protect your family, your community, your neighborhoods. You're going to learn to be a community response citizen. You're going to learn to work with sheriffs. We have a border town sheriff coming. We have a border patrol agent who's going to be teaching you guys. We have special ops guys. We have Tom Renz, who is one of the best legal minds. He is a legal eagle, teaching you lawfare, tactical civics. You're going to know what to do. I promise you.
Yeah, I think that's going to be some good stuff. And TBB, I'm over here on the Getter chat now. TBB saying that Stormy's getting all her questions answered because she's the only one asking questions. TBB, you got questions? Go ahead and ask up. Wow. He has some comments. That's my buddy over there on Getter. They follow the show religiously, and I appreciate that. They make comments, but they don't ask questions because I mean, normally, for the most part of what's going on, the audience is well informed. But you always bring some fire, Chris. You always bring something new to the show, and people love this show. I mean, literally every time you're on the show, I get the highest ratings, I get the highest views. So that's why I like to have you back. Every show.
It's really interesting what's going on. One thing I always find is when there's a whole lot of domestic stuff going on, what's going on in the rest of the world. And I really want America to kind of take their eyes outside of the country. Right. France is sending troops into the Ukraine. Other countries are actually rallying around Ukraine. All the while, we are undermining Israel, which is very dangerous ground, by the way. Maybe you can have me on another day and we'll talk about Israel and the implications of what's really, truly happening with the bolstering of Palestinian state, which, by the way, never existed in the whole entire history of the world. And Ukraine, with Russia and all of these other countries pulling in their military might, that is what a world war looks like when other countries are joining the forces. So I also believe leading up to the election, there's going to be wars and more intensified battles, so to speak, over in Ukraine with Russia. China is definitely looking to position themselves to invade Taiwan. So we can look forward to that happening. And so we have to understand this is a huge unrest period, not just for the United States, but for the world. And I want everybody who's on the fence about Donald Trump to think about something. And don't take my word for this. Go do your own due diligence and research this. Do you know that Donald Trump is the only president in the last 40 years who didn't have a war under his watch, right, who actually had peace and did peace accords?
That's right. Absolutely.
The military complex is a very vast and large and powerful complex. And the military complex is an arm of the federal governments of the world, different governments throughout the world. They make their power and they stay in power by wars.
By war. They lost billions, probably trillions of dollars because of Donald Trump. And, and you bring up a great point. And that's facts. Those are facts, as we say, and I mean, people felt it. I mean, I would hope people would, think about it and realize and be like, oh, yeah, we didn't have any wars. Even though Afghanistan was still going on, we were there. I mean, there was no shooting going on. There was nothing going on. People weren't dying. We didn't have, our military dying. We didn't have, what's going on in Russia, or Ukraine. And that's what they wanted, and that's why they impeached him for. But you mentioned Ukraine, and now what's happening is that Ukraine are using our missiles, which of course they weren't supposed to be used for, but to launch attacks deep inside of Russia now. So that within itself, Putin is not nothing to play with. Putin is not anything to play with, and they keep poking this bear, and they keep screwing with this dude. I honestly wish he just would have went ahead and annihilated Ukraine in a week, which he probably could have done, but somehow I think, he's been preventing World War III. People see him as a bad guy, and I get that. But I think Putin has been the person that has stopped us from going to World War III, because it easily could have escalated. He easily could have taken all of Ukraine in a week.
I think that's a misconception of Russia's military advancements and might. They are not, in certain areas, they don't have the capabilities that most people think. They really outsourced to a private entity, and Putin actually took out his adversary, and that was the Wagner Group. Which they've just rebranded themselves, by the way. And Putin is utilizing them in Africa right now to pillage and rape the land for their natural resources. That's a whole nother subject for another day. Like I said, I could get into a lot more in-depth stuff about a lot of things that are going on around the world from a national security terrorism perspective. But the military complex is what's driving the engine and fueling a lot of this with the governments, the corrupt governments. And so when there's peace, they're not fueling their machine, and they're not making the money and the billions of dollars. And you could say, well, this money fuels advancements. Yes, it does. But we have a level playing field now because of the Biden-Obama administrations. They have sold our technology. China has been infiltrating our universities, our military complex, our government agencies. They've been extracting information. I believe Biden probably, in my opinion, is one of the biggest Chinese spies of all time. And so probably for decades have been giving, documents in the garage and in Chinese funded university and offices where his stuff is. And so, and you've got Swalwell and you've got Feinstein, all of these individuals. So it goes pretty deep. And so and then of course, Afghanistan wasn't a debacle. It wasn't, it was purposeful to give our weaponry systems to reverse engineer to Iran and Syria and China and all of these players. So now they can look to see what we have. It's not a coincidence that Iran's capabilities have all of a sudden in the last year just blossomed, right? And they have the capabilities to send missiles all the way into Israel, whether they were successful or not. Where do you think they got the technology from? Well, they reversed engineered a lot of our stuff. So America, wake up, stand up, speak up, get involved. Go to the streets, peacefully assemble, vote, go knock on doors, take registrations, register people to vote, voice your opinion, go to the Hunter trial, demand justice, protest outside, go to the borders, do whatever you need to do. Do what you have to do during this moment in history.
Okay, I got another question for you. I know you say 2 or 3 minutes, but people are starting to ask questions now. So you just let me know when you need to go. But Stormy is asking questions. Will Christie be a part of Trump's administration? And I will add to that, would you want to?
Well, I don't think Trump knows. He's met me, but he meets so many people, and I've actually been in Mar-a-Lago and spoke on the stage next to him. But he probably at the end of the day is like, yeah, I don't know her. But, it would be an honor. It would be something I'd have to pray about. I don't do anything without praying, finding out if this is where the Lord wants me, because I don't serve man. I serve my God. And I have a calling on my life that's bigger than myself. But I would take it to the Lord and I'd pray about it. And I would be very honored in any way capacity to serve the Trump administration for the people, of course, not for him, but for the people.
Right. And do you think that they're going to bring back the draft?
That's an interesting question. I have a philosophy. Jamie, here's my philosophy.
Jamie may can answer that one too. Go ahead.
I believe that every single American citizen should do what Israel does. I think that we should serve 2 years. I do. I think it's a wise thing to do for numerous reasons. It teaches patriotism, love for country, discipline. It gives you skills that you desperately need. Those 2 years.
Survival skills, yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Security skills, all of that. Without a doubt.
So,
and Jamie, what do you think, Jamie?
I don't think it's far from the truth, honestly. You got to look at what's going on in the world, and I don't know if you've been keeping up with stuff, Jerome, but there's a lot of our brothers and sisters, chiefs and above, that are retiring. They're fed up with the politics. This is the senior leadership of the military saying they're going home. So what are you going to have? You know, nobody's joining, and people that do join, they spend 4 years and then they get out and they go do something else.
Right.
You know, you can't keep people in, and you can't get people to join. So I don't think it's very far from the truth.
Okay, Christy, Susan.
That's really interesting because anybody who has a student loan and their child is at a government-funded school. I have a friend a year and a half ago who actually their son received a letter, a draft letter, and told him to stand by. So I believe that those letters have already started going out. They haven't activated them, but I know from firsthand experience, because a friend of mine, like I said, their son received a letter stating that there's a possibility of the draft. So
if you have a student loan, no, if you have a student loan, Biden say, hey, yeah, we're going to release your loan.
Release their loans forgiven.
Right. You know, or maybe they give them for, forgive them, but then they're going to come back and draft them. Oh, yeah, the illegals, they get all the free shit. So Susan asks, does Christy think any Russians are coming across the border compared to, or how many Russians are coming across the border compared to other countries?
Yeah. I mean, the Russian military militia guys. Jerome, I think I've even showed video of me on the border with the Russians and the military coming over. The Russians are here, the Chinese are here, the Yemenis are here, the Syrians are here, the Iranians are here, the Afghanistanians are here, the Iraqis are here, the Mauritanians are here, the Venezuelans are here. We have people who are from over 100 and probably 68 countries who are in our borders, bad players, terrorists, and we don't know where they are for the most part.
Here's another thing, Jerome. You've been to Djibouti, right?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
Plenty times.
Okay. Do you know that the Chinese have built a base right outside of Djibouti?
Yep.
Yeah.
You already been there. There's nothing there.
I mean, a lot of this is part of that Chinese Belt and Roads Initiative, and that was just to go into these countries to build bases and also to put these countries in debt, but that's part of their Belt and Road Initiative, and that whole thing. So
and then look at all they were trying to buy property all over the United States. And Christy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Florida was the one state that said, no, you will not buy land here unless you have a legit reason to buy land, because they've been buying up land all over.
Well, they've been allowed to until recently when it came to light. So no, yes, you're correct. DeSantis has signed some orders. Texas has an order in place that they can't be within, which I think is wrong, 10 miles of critical infrastructure or military bases. I think it should be a hell of a lot further than 10 miles. Quite frankly, honestly, I don't think the Chinese government or anybody from China should be allowed to buy property, period, in the United States of America. Until such a time that they aren't posturing themselves with a threatening posture, right? We already know that they've been stealing our intellectual property for decades, and it's been allowed. And so they have consistently been provoking us and stealing from us. And so they aren't somebody to be trusted. So why are we allowing this to happen? Why are we allowing them to have agricultural property? Why are we allowing them to buy Smithfield hams? By the way, Smithfield America, Smithfield is owned by the CCP. I would not be buying any product from Smithfield. You want to stop the Chinese government, stop buying products that are made in China. Food, products. I don't care what it is. One of the first things I do, I don't care where I'm in the grocery store, whatever I'm buying. You know what, girls? I'm all about a good handbag or some shoes and a really cute dress, right? But I will flip that label. And the first thing I do are cute pottery or dishes or whatever it is. And I flip that over. And if it's made in China, I put it right back down and I walk out, because we are the reason why we bolstered China to the position that they're in. We're funding our enemies, America. We have to stop funding our enemies.
That's right. I buy nothing from China. And Chris, I played this clip probably about, 3 months ago, but these are the people that's coming into the country.
Smart enough, you would know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're gonna know who I am.
Very bad man. Very bad man. To your knowledge, has he been caught?
No. No, he's not.
Sad.
So for your
I
those
know
are the type of
exactly
people
what
that's
that
coming
was,
across our
I
path.
actually have been there in that particular. I've been there in Arizona. So, we have NGOs that are funding terrorism. Basically, the American people are funding our own demise. We need to demand every single person listening to this right now. You need to get on the phone tomorrow. You need to write. And you need to protest in the streets. If you want to know what you could protest in the hundreds of thousands, I would love for you all to just start showing up. Make this across the country. Is defund the NGOs. It's a money laundering scheme. So the Biden administration is taking your taxpayer-funded dollars in the hundreds of millions, and Catholic Charities over $1 billion, giving it to them. These entities, these NGOs, these Catholic Charities, and all these stuff, they are over in Central South America and in the United States, and they are bringing in all of these terrorists. And they are helping them, aiding and abetting them to sneak over the border. They're giving them food, water, and shelter, and then having them and telling them with maps where to disappear into the United States without being caught. The gotaways. That's what they're doing. They're not even telling them, for the most part, some of these people to go to turn themselves in. They're telling them how to just disappear into the United States. I have it on film and footage. America, that is treason. The NGO shouldn't be funded by your money, public money, governmental money. And we should be out protesting with signs every day to defund it. You know who has the power of the purse? That would be the House of Representatives, which is who is ran by who? The Republican Party, who has had the majority for how long? 2 years.
2 years.
Have they
No excuse.
the power of the purse? No.
No excuse. Everything that has happened in the past 2 years, you're talking about the trial, Donald Trump, you're talking about the funding of the NGOs, all of this, border security, and everything could have been stopped. All they had to do was pull the purse. All they had to do was stop funding it.
Shut it down. Shut it. You know what? Shut the damn government down. Here's the misconception too. And Jamie, you understand this completely. When they shut the government down, everybody gets paid when it opens back up.
That's right.
Everybody gets paid. They don't not get paid. That's a lie that the Democrats like to throw at you and scare everybody to say, oh my God, the government shut down. You know what? We could use our government shut down. We don't need big government. We could use to extract some of these people and fire them and not have them work. But every one of those people get paid as soon as our government gets back open. We need backbone.
Yep. And you get the back pay. And you get the back pay. So you get paid. You get back pay because that's happened before when I was in the military. We went a month, I guess, it got shut down, but we all got back pay. You got paid, or whatever the case is. And it's one thing I like to see, Christy. I would like to see the UN shut down. I would like to see us get out of the UN and NATO, but I would like to see the UN kicked out of this country. And people need to start rallying about that because the UN is part of the problem as well because they're also running these camps in Panama and these overseas in Mexico, and they're telling people how to come here, and just everything. So the world is actually against us. They think that these people are our friends, but they're not.
They're the parallel government that's been set up, and we'll talk about that another day. But the UN, the WEF, the IMF, the WHO, NATO, these are all parallel governments that was started in 1972 to replace the governments of all the different countries around the world. And now you're seeing them rise to power. And interestingly enough, Klaus Schwab is stepping down as the front man of the WEF.
Yeah, but his son is stepping up in his place or something like that. But I think a lot of these people, because of, I think all the stuff that's coming out about COVID, because now you see Fauci, so yeah, I made up the 6 foot thing, I just made up. So all this stuff, all the deaths that's happened, oh shit, I'm gonna get banned off YouTube again. I'm talking about the jab, but everything is coming out about the jab, right? I think I saw a letter from Kaiser. Kaiser's apologizing to their, to the people that lost their jobs because they wouldn't take the jab, and they're saying, "Oh, you guys can come back and reapply now. It's okay. We don't have the mandates anymore." So everybody's trying to cover their ass now because there are so many deaths from this jab. And, I believe, the lawsuits, they've already started overseas. And so the Nuremberg trials, they're going to happen. It's probably going to start overseas too. So now these people are going to cover CYA. And I think every one of those people that pushed the jab, every one of those people that, was, part of that, part of the lie, part of the big lie, everyone in Pfizer, everyone Moderna, Fauci, I think they need to.
Theorists, we were proven right.
Yeah, we're still undefeated, by the way, right?
We are undefeated.
Conspiracy theorists are still
We're 100%.
undefeated. And I've been saying that for months and still say I love every time something comes out. Hey, we're still undefeated. I love to say it. So, but hey, man, Jamie, thank you for coming on. Christy, again, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for an extended. I know you're busy. Thanks for extending. Now let me make sure Stormy hadn't asked any more questions anymore. So, but no, but it's cool though. I love the crew over there at Getter. But Christy, thanks for hanging out, answering questions.
Hey, everybody, go.
You guys got an extended version.
Yeah.
You guys got an extended version. I think my Getter stopped or something over in. Damn, I got cut off on the Freedom First Network over there on. I think something's happening. Something's happening with Rumble. I got jammed on Rumble. I think I just got cut off on Rumble. But anyway, it is what it is.
Well, you're gonna have me on a lot more, Jerome. So get used to it.
Hey man, I love to have you. Love to have you, Christy. Until next time, thanks for the short notice too. I hit Christy up yesterday. Hey, come on the show tomorrow. She's like, okay. So I really appreciate that. It was short notice.
Caught me at a rare moment at home before.
I know. I was lucky to catch her. I was about to say, you guys been so blessed that I was actually able to catch her at home on short notice. She's not on the road. She's not on the border. She's not overseas. in The Hague. And all this stuff that she does because Christy. So thank you. Love you always, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, military. Thank you, police officer, and get out there, vote. Be grassroots movement. Be the change this country needs you to be. God bless you guys. Love you.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you later.
Have a good night.
Bye. All right. I'm kicking everybody because I think I'm getting kicked from the studio. Not me personally, but okay, I think the feed is back up on. I lost it for a minute over there on Rumble, but I think it's back up. It's giving me a green check sign. So anyway, okay, so I'm going to play a couple other things, just another clip, of the criminal who I think is a criminal. And, this is for my black brothers and sisters, okay? This is for the people. Look, you guys need to get out here. You need to get out here and vote for Donald Trump. Don't stop voting for these racist ass liberals, Joe Biden, the Clinton. Stop voting for these people. You got the governor of New York said black kids didn't know what computers were and that we're idiots. The people in the Bronx and in New York, the black and brown people, the blacks and Puerto Ricans, they was in the Bronx, cheering on Trump, at the Trump rally. She said that we were idiots and stupid. Stop voting for these people. Stop voting for them. Send a message, and I don't give a shit if you like Donald Trump or not. This is not about Donald Trump. This is about saving America. And we have communists in our midst, and the Democrats are communists. And this guy has been a communist forever.
In 1969, I got involved deeply in the civil rights movement. And so I got involved as a kid in the civil rights movement.
I was not an activist. I worked at an all-black swimming pool in the east side of Wilmington, Delaware. I was involved. I was involved in what they were thinking, what they were feeling. I was involved, but I was not out marching. I was not down in Selma. I was not anywhere else.
This guy has been a liar his whole career, a plagiarizer, a liar his entire career. And do you all realize that now Joe Biden is the longest serving person in the government as far as Congress, the Senate, and President right now? And what has changed? What has changed for Americans? What has changed for, since the black people like to vote for the Democrats? What has changed besides shit has gotten worse with people like Joe Biden? He's been in for over 50 years and nothing has gotten better. So why keep putting these people back in office? Why keep voting for these people? And then you have people like Hillary Clinton, who, said that we were.
The fourth challenge is to take back our streets from crime, gangs, and drugs.
And this is part of that. I'm going to bring that back up, but that's part of Joe Biden's crime bill, 1994 crime bill. Okay, it's what she's speaking about, right? You heard Joe Biden talk about it earlier. These people need to get off the streets, except my crackhead son, Hunter Biden.
Making progress on this count as a nation because of what local law enforcement officials are doing, because of what citizens and neighborhood patrols are doing. We're making some progress. Much of it is related to the initiative called community policing, because we have finally gotten more police officers on the street. That was one of the goals that the president had when he pushed the crime bill that was passed in 1994. He promised 100,000 police. We're moving in that direction, but we can see it already makes a difference. Because if we have more police interacting with people, having them on the streets, we can prevent crimes. We can prevent petty crimes from turning into something worse. But we also have to have an organized effort against gangs. Just as in a previous generation we had an organized effort against the mob. We need to take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel. And the president has asked the FBI to launch a very concerted effort against gangs everywhere. In addition to that, he has appointed a new drug czar. You probably saw him Tuesday night. He's one of the most distinguished active military generals that we have in our country. He's already proven that he knows how to interdict drugs because of his command of the South American activity on behalf of the United States. But General McCaffrey will make a big difference, and I believe it is now time for all of us to know what we can do individually to be part of this anti-crime, anti-gangs, anti-drug effort. The fifth challenge is
to bring you to heel, like your dog. You know, this is what the Democrat Party thinks about you. All black men, vote Donald Trump 2024. All black sisters, vote Donald Trump 2024. Our brown brothers and sisters, vote Donald Trump 2024. Let's get out and let's rally. So this song I'm going out on, hey, this is a war call, you know, a peaceful war. You know, I don't want to call, you know, for any mass, you know, violence or anything like that. That Democrat Party is definitely going to do when they lose in November. But this is for all my veteran brothers, all my veteran sisters. This is for the people that never served. This is for the people here in the United States that need to rally behind Donald Trump. They need to rally behind each other. And this is how we're going to go out tonight. I love y'all. See y'all again next Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. The Radical Republicans live show with your host, the Black Mamba Jerome Bell. We'll see y'all next week. We're going to leave you with this.
The powers and call me away. I'm on the time to carry the colors again. My motivation and no house want to defend. To win the honor of coming back home again. No explanation will matter after we begin. I'm not the dark destroyer that's buried within. My true vocation and not my unfortunate friend. You will struggle while you're unable to win. I'll have you know that I've become indestructible. Determination and less incorruptible. From the Amazon of terror to the hope. Annihilation will be unavoidable. Every broken enemy will know that they're opponent cannot be invincible. Take a last look around of your own life. I'm an indestructible master of war. And I'm the reason, and I'm the cause for me to fight. And I'm the fuse uncovered now for me to light. My dedication to one the lost, one to protect. I carry out my orders without a regret. My declaration embedded deep under my skin. A permanent reminder of how it began. No hesitation when I am commanded to strike. You need to know that you're living the fight of your life. You will be shown how I become indestructible. Determination and is incorruptible. From the Amazon of terror to behold. Annihilation will be unavoidable. Every broken enemy will know that they're opponent cannot be invincible. Take a last look around while you're alive. I'm an indestructible master of war. incorruptible. Determination and is incorruptible. From the other side of terror to behold. Annihilation will be unavoidable. Every broken enemy will know that terror will be invincible. Take a last look around while you're online. I am indestructible. Indestructible. Determination that is incorruptible. From the other side of terror to behold. Annihilation will be unavoidable. Every broken enemy will know that terror will be invincible. Take a last look around while you're alive. I'm indestructible.